focuses on outreach and external activities with schools and universities in Qatar, and also has a master's degree in community and regional planning and certificate in geographic information systems. Sir, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much. Is my voice clear to everyone?
Yes.
Perfect. So thank you very much, and thank you, Natalie, for communicating with me in the past and telling me I should give very interactive and fun workshops. So hopefully I'm gonna deliver that. So my name is Ahmad Al-Saygh. Hello. So my name is Ahmad Al-Saygh. I work at Bidayah Center, and I'm going to talk about journey of an entrepreneur. So what's journey of an entrepreneur? You're going to learn that today. So again, I work at Bidayah Center. What we do at Bidayah Center, which is located in Qatar, I heard that some people are not in Qatar. So what we do at Bidayah Center, that we help people in developing their projects. If they have, let's say, a business model that they want to develop and create, let's say, a business project. So we just guide them and tell them what to do. And also what we do is we have face-to-face sessions, and we also have workshops. So we tell people on like how to, let's say, ideate a business or how to market their products or services. And sometimes we have platforms so people can sell their products, whether it's online or physically through some source. So let's ask you, what have you been doing recently? So in the past year, I know with the corona, with everything, a lot of people are staying at home, lockdown, they cannot do anything. So I'm going to ask you, what have you been doing? Or let's say, what's up? So how many people were watching Netflix or finished the whole catalog of Netflix shows, or let's say Amazon or Hulu, or you can directly chat me, I think, right? Or it's the chat open to everyone?
The chat is open to everyone.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Oh, binge watching, okay. A lot of people are like binge watching. Playing video games, okay. It's fun. So how many people were reading? Oh, studying for exams. I know, exams, yeah. I've been doing research on social responsibility. Wow. Studying anime. I love that. A lot of people are like doing something while lockdown. So many people were like planning to travel somewhere, but they couldn't travel because of the lockdown. Corona, I know. Art, horse riding, wow. So I believe like a lot of you were like exploring new skills, a new set of activities, which is amazing. And I know some of you were saying like, okay, let's start this bubble tea business. How about that? Let's have a plan and let's reach a goal and start a business. So maybe a lot of you were thinking of having that. And I know it's like, okay, yes, we made it. Now we have a plan, let's do it. So when you have a business plan, a lot of people were thinking like, okay, we're gonna start with an idea and we'll go all the way reaching out our goal and starting this business. But in reality, there are like a lot of obstacles and you're gonna face a lot of issues along the way when you start the business. So for example, the Spider-Man movie is coming out. So you're gonna stop working on the project for a few days. Your cousin is getting married, so the whole attention is going to be on your cousin and their marriage, and like, oh my gosh, I cannot focus on my project. And there's new challenge on TikTok, and don't do any challenges on TikTok, please. I recommend you not to do anything. And then here you go, zombie apocalypse, and then you're gonna stop working on your project. It's like, oh no, I really need to focus on finishing my project and really have it outside and really have to like promote what I'm doing, because I'm coming up with something new that is needed in the market. So what do you think as an entrepreneur? What's the definition of entrepreneur? You were thinking of having a business project, but what do you think is the definition of entrepreneur? Let's read all these answers. If I can catch all these answers, a lot of you were like typing very fast. So what do you think is the definition of entrepreneur?
If you guys put your hands up, we can allow you guys to unmute yourselves.
Yeah,
so
unmute yourself.
I'm gonna put your hands up. Awesome. Go first.
Go ahead.
I would say that it is a person who takes risks to start a business.
Okay. What else? a lot of us are saying someone who's willing to take risks. I love that because some people will think like we're thinking like, okay, an entrepreneur is like just having fun, having their own time, doing whatever. But in reality, entrepreneurs, they work all the time. I myself, as an entrepreneur, basically I have my job at a dye center and entrepreneur at the same, like the other time. So I usually don't take weekends. I try to build my business and or basically I'm taking this risk to make my business, let's say, worthy and like avoiding all these pitfalls of losing all that money that I put towards my business. So entrepreneur is exactly what you were saying, all of you. Entrepreneur is taking the risk. So it's a French word. Je ne pas I'm not gonna try to say it in français. So je ne parle pas français, I think that's how to say it. So yeah, entrepreneur, French word saying, or the definition of it is taking the risk. And a lot of entrepreneurs, or let's say a lot of business people, they think they're entrepreneurs, but they're not. And a lot of people, they don't know what's the definition of being an entrepreneur. So being an entrepreneur is not something easy. You really have to take a risk. You have to put your money, and don't put all your money in your business, because only a small percentage of these businesses will succeed. So according to studies, out of, I believe it's like, only 2 to 5% of businesses or like entrepreneurial projects will succeed in their first year. So let's say 95% will fail. And don't take it like that. Yeah, 1 out of 7. A lot of studies. So as an entrepreneur, okay, maybe you failed the first time, but you have to learn from your mistakes, and you always have to keep up. You always have to take the risk to make your business successful. So when I'm saying be an entrepreneur, don't be like this guy from Rick and Morty selling fake doors. Be this guy who invented something new to help the environment or help the people. He's coming up with a machine to clean up all that debris along the water. So be that guy. So what makes your idea unique? What do you think? If you have something, a project, what do you think what makes your idea unique? Someone's saying I'm gonna sell potatoes by a roadside. Well, what's going to happen if you cannot sell potatoes? Something bad happens to the farm. Doing it your own way, it's not done before, yes, something that fills the gap in the market. It's original, game changer, it's innovative in its own way. Okay, something that is different from others, or something that is saving and doing good to the others. Love the answers. Yes, it's needed. So a lot of people, when they think like, okay, my idea is unique, I don't want to share it with anyone. But it's going to be different, because whoever is going to implement the idea, or like, let's say, stealing your idea, is not going to do it as the same as you were thinking of doing it. So here's the difference. So someone raised their hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell what I thought what an entrepreneur was.
Yes.
Oh, an entrepreneur is a person who increases production of his company by taking risks.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. That's an entrepreneur. And entrepreneur, like there are like different levels of an entrepreneur. So an entrepreneur can be helping the community, maybe someone who needs to increase their profit, or someone who needs to help, let's say, the country by maybe like exporting products, or like reaching out some level of sustainability in the country. So there are different levels of entrepreneurs. There are different kinds of entrepreneurs as well. There are social entrepreneurs that try not to take profits, but to help communities by coming up with something new. So there are a lot of definitions of entrepreneurs, but mostly what you were saying is taking the risk. So going back to the question, what makes your idea unique? If you have a business, making your idea unique, you have to make sure that it can be implemented. You cannot come up with something that seen online, or like, let's say, oh, I saw this idea in the UK, I want to implement in Qatar. I was like, you really need to study the market first. It needs to add a value. So maybe someone is having this idea, or like, let's say, this product for like $1 million. So I was like, oh, this is too much. No one is going to buy this product. So you have to come up with this product in a lower price so people can buy it. Yes, also targeting demographics, that's also correct. It needs to cover the market needs. Some of you were saying that. You have to make sure that the product or services you're providing, it needs to cover the market needs based on their demographics. You are not selling a car for a kid. You're selling a car for someone who's eligible to get the driver license over 18 and can drive the car. So you have to make sure that it covers the needs. Also, you need to have the passion, because being an entrepreneur taking this risk is going to take a toll on you emotionally. Because like every time you would say, oh, I cannot do it, no, people are not taking this seriously, you really need to have this passion to deliver what you believe in order to achieve your goal. If you remember, if I showed you the obstacles and reaching out the goal, this is what's going to face you as an entrepreneur. You really have to keep going and making sure that people won't put you down for what you believe in, and making, or let's say, making a dream a reality. So when we think about ideas, we always think about like, okay, so what we have is two sides of our brain, the right side and left side. So when you think of an idea that is probably, let's say, needed in the market, your right side of the brain is being creative and thinking, let's have this thing. And then the left side of the brain thinking like, okay, it's the logic part thinking, okay, so based on the regulations or based on the numbers, this is how we can come up with this product. Someone saying, I've learned about this left and the right side. Amazing. So if we go back in time, 30 years ago, let's take the TARDIS. Is it called the TARDIS? I think it's called the TARDIS, right? Someone correct me. If we go back in time, his name is Jeff Bezos. He quit his job. He used to work at Wall Street. He quit his job. His colleagues were making fun of him because he said, okay, I'll start this website called Amazon. I'm going to sell books online from my garage. Because in the United States, not a lot of people, or let's say some communities or some cities, they don't have libraries, they don't have bookstores, so they are relying on the postal services. So he said, okay, I'll create this website, people can order books, and it worked. And if we are taking the TARDIS back again, going back to the present time, not to get older, but now he's the richest man on earth, having this website that everyone is using wherever they're at, whether they're in cave or in lockdown like yourself. So he came up with products and such as Alexa, which is the voice automated device. And he's also working or actually competing with Elon Musk for his space exploration. If you heard that Jeff Bezos on July 20th is going to outer space, so we don't know what's going to happen. So I'm gonna read a few chats before I go moving on. Okay. So I think some of you are having questions. Yes, so go ahead. Someone is asking a question.
Yeah, I had a question.
Yes.
So, can a wholesaler be an entrepreneur?
Say it again.
Can a wholesaler be an entrepreneur?
What are you selling?
Like if you're buying something from a wholesale market and then you want to send it, like you want to like sell it even further, and you would be you would be taking the risk. So would you be the entrepreneur?
You are just being just any regular business person. You're trading. So what you're doing is buying from somewhere and selling the items individually. Unless if you're using, let's say, a new application that sells all this item in a very innovative way, that makes you an entrepreneur. And there are that answers the question, right? I believe there are 4 more people having questions.
Zaina, you can go ahead and unmute and say your question.
Okay.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Afra. I'm a sociology student. I completed my degree last year. And my question is, you said just now, one question was, how is it different an entrepreneur from a normal businessman? So you already the answer has been given by you. So I'm asking, the question is, how you asked how unique, what is the uniqueness of being an entrepreneur? According to you, what is every business is having its own uniqueness. So can't every business person be an entrepreneur, or is it like a person who is providing for a social responsibility or providing for a social cause is called as an entrepreneur?
Okay. So I think the question is divided into 2 parts. Social entrepreneurship is totally different than being an entrepreneur. Yes, some people, they might be, let's say if I'm selling just regular items, let's say I'm involved into real estate, would that make me an entrepreneur? Unless if I'm providing it, or let's say providing the listing in another way. Let's say I'm creating this website based on the need of the people, what they're looking for. They can filter these apartments. I'm being an entrepreneur as being unique in the market. I'm having this platform that helps people to define, or let's say find their properties that they're looking for. So I hope this is clear. I'm trying to think of other examples.
Can I ask, let me connect it with your own platform. How do you consider Bidaya as a business platform or an entrepreneurship?
Bidaya is just advisory council, so
So
we're not.
It doesn't go into entrepreneurship or a business state.
No, we like entrepreneurship only. Like if someone is trading, buying items and resell them, that's we don't focus on those people. We focus on the people that try to come up with something new to the market.
So you're different from business consultancy.
It is business consultancy, but we only focus on entrepreneurship.
Okay. Now again, with your explanation, I'm getting confused. What
Yes.
is an entrepreneurship and what is a business person?
Sorry?
Like from your discussion, I'm getting confused. How to define a person to be an entrepreneur and how to define a person to be a businessman, because both of them are taking risk to provide the need of the society, or to provide the need for the society. So how to differentiate between a proper businessman and a proper entrepreneur? What is the difference of the words?
Okay. So maybe the definition will also lies on the needs of the country or the community, because in Qatar, what we have over here, the definition of an entrepreneur is someone who's coming up with something unique that is needed in the market. Not something that is common, which we put it in another bracket as as a business, regular business. So in other locations, maybe it's considered as entrepreneurship, or the other way, or being like a businessman. So I would say, I know as a business taking the risk, but businessmen or women generally, they don't come up with something innovative unless if it's something that is unique. A lot of jobs, for example, working as in the office, is that considered as something? Or let's rephrase it because I'm repeating myself. So I'm selling cars. Would be an entrepreneur or just a businessman? What do you think? Businessman. If I'm coming up with a new electric car, then I'll be an entrepreneur. So there's this line of coming up with something innovative, something new, as considered as taking the risk and introducing something into the market, comparing to someone who's just selling items or trading. I hope this is clear. Okay. I'm having a lot of questions. That's good. Who's next? Zaina?
Yeah, sir. Are you open to questions, or would you like to?
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. I have like 1 hour. That's fine.
Zaina, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you. So I started a business like 3 months ago,
Okay.
and I've done all my research and I have found no one that does body sprays and anything that I do, but I haven't had many sales and I don't know exactly what to do.
Okay. So I'm gonna cover that about how to increase the sales
Okay.
in the next slides. Okay.
You.
Just stay here. Okay, who's next? Fatma?
Okay. Hi. Good
Hello.
evening. Okay. So my question is actually more of an advice. But anyway, it's not a secret that we are living in a very capitalistic world, you know,
can't hear
where
you well.
the rich becomes richer and the poor becomes poor. And you've already stated the difference between actually what's supposed to be one of my questions, the difference between a business
Fatma, I
person
can't hear
and
you.
an entrepreneur.
Can you repeat your question?
Sorry?
Can you just repeat your question again?
Oh no, I was like, okay, I was actually hold on. Okay, I was like saying this one of my questions was supposed to be about businessman and the difference between of that and entrepreneurs. But it was already answered, so my question would be a different question. But anyway, so I would say, right, so here Jeff Bezos here, he's very famous for exploitation of workers, and so that's where my question would actually lie on. Is that I think one correct me if I'm wrong, like one thing that is that there's a common ground between businessman, business person, and an entrepreneur is that they are aiming for exploration and exploitation. So my question would be, how would you guide the youth to go for exploration rather than exploitation?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch most of the question. Sorry. The voice. If you type it down is better.
Okay, I'm just gonna type it down.
Okay, so I'll keep going just in case if you have more questions later. I'll keep all the questions toward the end. So what Jeff Bezos and others, what they were doing, they thought of a lot of questions along the way until they end up, they were thinking of a lot of projects until they end up with maybe one or a few successful ideas. So there is something called design thinking, and this is what entrepreneurs are doing, or a lot of people were doing. So that first they had to understand the issue in order to come up with maybe a project, let's say that's an idea, that's a product or a service. And then they come up to the portion of the ideation, which is creating this product and testing it to the market until they make sure that this product or service is really worthy in the market. So a lot of people, when they face an issue, they say, okay, I'm using this treadmill, but I'm using it as a clothes hanger. Maybe I'll come up with something that is beneficial for me. So I'm using it for maybe working out. It's this treadmill and working, or like working out and working at the same time. So this is the whole process of ideation, or like this is when entrepreneurs come up with projects that could be beneficial for themselves or others. Prior to, let's say, having, or let's say the next one that's going to be the easiest answer to do is the business plan. People used to have business plan, and it's like it's deviated and having a lot of questions. And like it's a booklet with a lot of planning. So we will ignore all this, and what we are going to do is we'll come up with a business model canvas that you can find online. It's something that is simple and easy for you to work with in order to ensure that your idea is working, and to ensure that your product is really adds value, or let's say services is really adding a value to the community and to your business. So business model canvas, it's 9 blocks. Each block is focuses on certain things. You can, again, you can look up business model canvas online on Google. It comes with the 9 segments. There are customer segment, customer relationship, value proposition, key activities, key partner, cost structure, key sources, channels, revenue streams. And you can group them all together. And this is how I'm going to talk about customer segments, customer relationship, value proposition, channels will all be in one segment. Key activities, key partners, and key resources will be in the second segment. Cost structure and revenue streams, that could be in the third segment. So what is business model canvas? It's a sheet that comes with 9 blocks, helps you to put up your plan, and helps you to understand the customers and how you can sell the products to your customer, and also helps you to understand the cost and how much money you're making from these products or services that you're selling. And remember, I think there is one of you saying, well, I'm selling this product that is not being sold in the market yet. And this is what you have to focus on, the value proposition, or something that is unique, adding to the market. So we'll focus on the first segment, customer relationship, customer segment, channels, and value proposition. So everyone knows this game, Among Us, and this is what you're going to do. You really have to ask the clients, well, in this case, asking the players and finding the imposter, but you have to ask the clients. You have to understand the clients and their needs. Do they need this AirPods or no? Do they need this phone or no? I have to show the phone. So you really have to understand the clients and their needs in order to provide the products or services that you're working on. If you haven't, that means your product might fail. So if you get it all right, and you've tested the product with the clients, that means you have validated the idea to the clients. Someone is one to, okay, I'll leave the questions toward the end. Okay. So if you heard about Gary Dahl, I'm not sure if you heard of him, in 1975, what he was doing, he was actually like mocking people or laughing at them. He was selling pet rocks. So the way he was pitching, he was like, okay, people cannot have pets and they cannot take care of it. So what he was doing, he was selling rocks inside a box. So there were, he was making millions and millions. So if you see that on December 24th, that's close to Christmas season over in the US, he sold like over 1 million rocks just by promoting and saying this thing, like he was understanding the clients, like they cannot take care of a rock, or let's say people cannot take care of like real pets. So it's like, oh, here's a rock. You just put it there and it's gonna be feeding itself. And you don't need to water it, so it's gonna be fine. It's not gonna die. So this is what he was doing. He was not saying scamming people, but he understood what the market needs. So with a lot of marketing, there are a lot of sales. You always have to market your product. You're always going to have lots of sales. And this is I would put it as a golden standard. As Steve Jobs said, marketing is about values. It's a complicated and noisy world, and we are not going to get a chance to get people to remember much about us. No company is, so we have to be really clear about what we want them to know about us. So when people talk about iPhones, people would know about iPhones. It's coming from Apple, and they made a lot of, let's say, commercials, and I'm just gonna clear all the drawings that are on this. So he focused on marketing. A lot of companies focusing on marketing, they are spending a lot of money on marketing. If you heard about the Super Bowl, which is a famous competition happening in the US every year, which is like the American football final game, companies like Pepsi or McDonald's, they spend nearly like, I believe like right now it's $250 million just to have like 30 seconds of ads on TV. So they're trying to convince people to buy their products. They know that a lot of people watch TV on that night, so they are focusing on marketing, and this is what they're doing, focus on marketing. So when we talk about marketing, it's thinking about the product, the price, place, and in the end, you have to focus on promotion, how you're gonna promote the product. Yes, I'm here we go, buy the iPhone. So what is the 4 Ps? Product, price, place, promotion. You have to understand, this is the product, I'm gonna price it for this much, I'm gonna sell it online, and I'm gonna do promotion for people to buy the product. So this is all about marketing. Again, if you do well-known marketing, you will have better sales. In the past, there is a traditional marketing ways, focusing on newspapers, focusing on TV. So that's the old traditional ways. They're only focusing on selling the product. But with the new wave or the new digital marketing, they are focusing on the customer. So if you remember going to the Apple store, people are like, or let's say you are looking at the product and the salesperson comes to you and is like, hey, well, how's your days going? And how many times are you using your phone? Would you like to have smaller phone or bigger phone? So it's all about the customer. It's not about the product. And a lot of items that are being popped up online right now, it's about what you've been searching online. So it's all about the customer, not about the product. So that's the new trend of marketing. Again, this is like another example. Using Supreme and products, like they are doing collaborations, they're creating this hype for people to buy products. So this is what they are doing. I'm gonna clear all the drawings. People are like, okay. So we finished the first segment of understanding the customer and the needs or marketing. Now we focus on key activities, key partners, and the key resources. Okay. I'm just gonna remove the annotation again. So for every business, you have to think about what do you need, like what are you selling or what are you focusing on, what services you're focusing on. So for the key business resources, or let's say the key activities, you have to understand where are you selling your products, or what services you're providing. What do you need in terms of, let's say, do you need to pay rent? Do you need to work with contractors, subcontractors? Where are you getting the raw materials? You have to understand where are you getting all these materials to write it down. Okay, I'm at the same time reading all the chat. So you have to write down all the things that you want in order to have a successful business idea or business project. I like that everyone is like asking and answering questions, so it's amazing. I probably don't need to give this presentation. So now we go to the cost and revenues. I know numbers are boring, and people don't like to do the numbers and like making sure that like, oh, it's very hectic, but as a business person, you really have to write down all the numbers. Use an Excel sheet. We have a lot of people, they started the businesses for months, and they come toward us to Bidayah Center, and they say, we are not sure if we are making profit or not, because they are not recording all the sales. So they ended up knowing that they were losing money, and they have to cut the cost, or they have to change the supplier, or have to increase the prices of the items. For example, recently someone said, okay, I am buying this item for $130, let's say $130, and selling it for $150. So that's basically like somehow a net profit of $20, probably not much. So they really have to think about how much they are buying the items, the raw materials, and selling the items. So record everything. You can use Excel sheet, or you can use the color accounting, which is a fun way to record everything that you have from assets to sales. So again, what makes your idea unique? You have to make sure that it can be implemented. It adds a value. It covers the market needs, and you should be passionate about it. So before going on to the next one, I'm going to have your questions. So I believe Khadija, right? You have a question, Khadija?
Yes, salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Thank you for this great presentation. This is Khadija Mohammed from Chad. So during the Corona period, I read a lot of courses about entrepreneurship, and a lot of project idea across to my mind, but still I don't know how to choose the right idea to make it a successful business. So I don't know how to choose. Thank you.
Okay, so what's the business, or like, let's say, what is a suitable business idea that you want to implement? Try out different things, because with testing, you would know what is the best business idea for you. Maybe let's say, a project that you found out that is, let's say it's profitable, but it's not something that you can keep up with or work with. So you have to test. Make sure that the idea is you can implement or you can do by yourself. For example, you're good at cooking, but someone told you, hey, maybe you should make clothing. You're not good at making clothing. You're good at cooking. So you just have to try it out. Maybe, you don't know, maybe you're good at making clothing. So test until you figure out what's the best idea and what's needed in the market. Ikhlas, you have a question?
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, so now when you were talking about the entrepreneur, so as you said, an entrepreneur is like when you try to start a business, but by taking risk. But this question came on the back of my mind by saying, so example, someone has a good job and everything's going fine, but they want to like get a new job, and like, is that taking a risk of an entrepreneur?
Yes, this is common with a lot of people. Maybe they don't like their jobs. They are trying to find something new. It is true. Some people, they want to taking the risk and starting a business by them own, by like they own by themselves. So again, being an entrepreneur is taking the risk. So it comes to the fact that maybe some people are not happy with how much money they're making with their own jobs. They want to make more money, so they are going to being an entrepreneur.
Maybe they're looking for something to work with. Maybe they're innovative. So there are a lot of reasons why people want to maybe leave their jobs and going into entrepreneurship. Okay, so let's have this interactive, quick workshop thing.
Thank you for answering my question.
You're welcome. So, if you're an entrepreneur right now and you've noticed this issue, traffic, it's common everywhere, what are you going to do? Let's hear it out from you. You can use the chat. Let's read it out. Roundabouts, okay. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're facing this traffic issue every day. Traffic is everywhere around the world. What are you going to do to solve the traffic issue? I love this. Higher the taxes or payment of cars like fuel. Lockdown. Another lockdown. Okay. Carpool service. I love this. Start a carpool service. You're cutting down on traffic. Metro. Okay. Creating new roads is not going to solve the issue. In fact, there are a lot of studies saying if you're creating new roads, it's going to increase the traffic because it's becoming more accessible for people to just drive everywhere. Taxes on private cars used for funding public transport, make free using tax money. More public transport using bus. Okay. I love that everyone is thinking about public transport. So what about, let's say someone said about carpool. What are you going to do? How are you going to do the carpool idea?
Sir, I have an idea.
Yes, go ahead.
It's not exactly related to carpooling, but there are a lot of good answers in the chat, but one that's pertinent to the current technologically advanced world is, for example, an app, a service app that forecasts to people and shows in live the traffic conditions. And yes, this might have been introduced in other apps like Google Maps and all of that, but we haven't really seen a proper functioning and updated one that shows the accurate live descriptions. And that app in itself can also include a carpooling function, because we saw apps like Uber include other functions such as Uber Eats.
I love this answer. You're thinking as an entrepreneur. It's amazing. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. If you're just adding more lanes or public transportation, you're still facing an issue with traffic. So I know it's going to reduce a lot of traffic from like using private cars for people to use the metro. But if you're facing this issue daily with increasing population, increasing roads, that means you really have to use technology to your advantage and using it toward your side, and like having this application, it can maybe tells you like, okay, there's traffic this way, you have to go other ways. A lot of applications are recording the traffic, but they are not utilizing these data. Again, data is a big thing that as an entrepreneur can benefit from. Can be beneficial to come up with many creative ideas or entrepreneurial ideas. So we have a question, I assume. Emma?
Thank you. So I just wanted to answer over something. So I would say that if you increase like taxes over private cars, it could be like people get like worried over taxes and they start to implement.
Yes. So a lot of Western countries, they are implementing higher taxes. And the way they're doing it is within the core of the city, or let's say the business district of the city, the taxes are higher. There are cameras recording the traffic, or let's say the cars going through that area. So people
driving through these areas, they have to pay higher taxes comparing to the people going around the business district or the core of the city. So having taxes is a good thing. There are also some countries that are implementing pollution tax. So every time you're driving a car, you have to pay taxes for that. It's a good thing is deterring people from using the cars, their cars. But again, there are still people who would prefer using private vehicles as the mode of transportation. The incomes are getting higher, so it's like, okay, it's just tax I can pay and drive my own car. So there needs to be a balance somehow, and having technology to your side, that will be a good thing, and you can be innovative about it. You have another question, Zaima? If I'm reading out your name correctly. Yes, Apple Maps is being updated to be a lot more detailed. So I'm just gonna wrap up very quickly and have more questions later. So your idea is inside this box. And when people say, think outside the box, you can have pressure. People will say you cannot do it, you need funding for it, but you have to keep going and make sure that your idea can be out there and can solve issues. Because as an entrepreneur, you really have to think outside the box and come up with something that is needed in the market. And yes, and towards the end, you're gonna break all that chains and having this idea coming out to the market. And this is what makes you as an entrepreneur. So I have about 5-10 minutes for questions.
Okay, can I talk about the traffic thing? So I was wondering, like, even if you like create a rule or start working for public transport, and then there would be some people who will oppose you. So what do you do in that case, that if you get opposition, that we have cars, we have money for fuel, how do you do with opposition?
Oh, it happens everywhere. So opposition is probably like with the car, especially in the Middle East, or let's say in the Gulf countries, they are actually, unfortunately, they are encouraging more cars to be bought because it drives the economy of buying petrol. People are buying gas or like petrol, gas, depends. I'm using two different words. So they're encouraging people to buy cars. So you buy the petrol from a petrol station, you are helping the country's economy. So this is what's happening. So it's very common that you're going to find opposition wherever. It depends on the country's needs. It is very common for Gulf countries over here, oil-rich countries, to do that. It's a common practice over here. And other Western countries, they probably don't need that. They would say, okay, let's reduce the traffic. Let's come up with something. It's helping or like creating jobs by having renewable energy. So it's very deep issue.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. Ooh, I'm having a lot of questions. Okay, go ahead. Who's next?
Question from Arij.
Okay. Go ahead, Arij. I'm gonna unmute you.
Hi, so I was wondering, how do you, if you're like a form of entrepreneurship, I don't know if it counts, but becoming an author for the first time, like writing a book, how do you market a book? Because it's not like a product necessarily or a service necessarily, but it still requires marketing, especially if you're a first-time author. How do you get your name on bookshelves and libraries?
This is, wow. Okay, how to market a book. Book fairs. Your target audience are people who would read your book. It depends on the genre also of the book.
let's say it's a fictional book, so you'd go to any book fairs that talks about fiction, and you'll have your target audience over there. So this is the first thing that you have to do in order to market the book. Maybe you have to market yourself, saying, "Hey, I'm the author of this book." So you have to do this. You have to market the book and yourself as much as possible, because yeah, selling books is, or let's say having hard copies is becoming obsolete. People tends to go online and having everything online, reading everything on their iPads. So and there are some loyal people who would love to have a hard copy of a book. So maybe those will be your target audience.
Okay, so our next question is from Sarah.
Okay, Sarah. I'm sorry, I cannot read the questions on the chat. There are a lot of questions. Maybe if you save the questions, I'll try to answer them on my Instagram. Maybe. But go ahead, Sarah. Sorry.
Okay, sir. What inspired you to take the job that you are now in, and why do you like helping people improve their businesses?
Say it again. There was back noises. I couldn't hear the question. Can you repeat the question?
Yes, sir. What inspired you to take the job that you're now in, and why do you like helping people improve their businesses?
What inspired me? Oh, wow. To make the story short, in fact, my degree is not an entrepreneurship. It's urban planning. I just landed this job because I read a lot, and I ended up helping others. And I love to teach people about what they're missing. Because with technology, a lot of people are not, or let's say missing out on a lot of information that are available to the public. And us as humans, we are curious to try. So I love to, let's say, guide the people to make sure that the step that they're going to take, it might be risky. So, and they have to really make sure that what they're doing is the right thing.
Sir, I have 2 more questions. Is it okay if I ask?
Yeah, I have time. I have 4 minutes.
Okay, sir. Do you like helping other people improve their businesses, or is it very hectic and hard?
It's with like the first few businesses that you go through, it might be hard, but then it will be easy because you know the answer.
And sir, my last question, I'm very sorry. What is your biggest accomplishment?
Oh, okay. Giving this workshop. I tricked you, right?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. My biggest accomplishment is getting master's degree, maybe. Let's say that. Okay, we have 2 more questions. I hope it will be enough.
Neha, you can ask your question.
Okay, hello, my name is Neha Susinchintu. I go to Birla Public School in Qatar. So my question is, for example, an entrepreneur came up with a unique idea. Is it possible that the workers who work with him oppose that idea?
The workers is what?
The workers who work with him in that company oppose that idea?
Oppose this idea. Well, it's okay. Legal things. Actually, this will be a type of leadership. So if a leader can convince their workers about doing this project, then they're willing to do it. That's the type of a leader who can innovate and come up with something new. Unless it's something risky, then probably this leader or this person coming up with this innovative idea might damage the reputation between him or her with their employees.
Okay, thank you for answering my question.
I guess there is two more or one more, right?
Amij, do you have another question?
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up about the same question. You mentioned about marketing your book on online. So I actually I'm not asking the question out of curiosity. I do have a book. I do have, you know, my publisher and stuff. I'm doing self-publishing. But the thing with my book is that it's not necessarily a fictional book, and it's actually a children's picture book, but it's not a bedtime story. It's about I don't want to reveal too much because it's not fully published yet, but it's quite a sensitive topic, and it's the type of book that a child wouldn't pick out in a bookstore. Perhaps a parent would purchase for that child. And so because it's I spoke about this with my publisher as well, and she said to me that they don't usually have children's books online digitally, because most people prefer to have that that children's book, that picture book in their hand, like physical hard copies. And again, like, it brings me back to the same question, like, how do I market this? Because it's not like a fictional book where I can just go and find maybe a social media account that talks about books, or like I could post like, hey, I wrote this fictional book. It's a very specific target audience, and I'm only 12. I have the problem on the internet as well, that people won't take a 12-year-old seriously. I have a lot of, you know, obstacles with publishing this book, and I'm most of the way there, but I don't know how to market it.
Okay. Do you have a publisher for the book? Or you're just self-funding the book?
So I have a publisher, but the publisher, like, I have everything lined up with in terms of publishing, and I'll be able to get a physical book, because the type of publishing that I'm doing, it's self-publishing, but with a publishing company. So it's not your typical publishing company that will take your manuscript and then do whatever they want to do with it. It's a partnership, it's a collaboration. And so I don't have the problem with getting it into the market, but I have the problem with reaching the target audience after it's in the market.
Okay. Okay, so you said you don't have any problem. That means it can pass through all the regulations with the, let's say, you're based in Qatar, right? So Ministry of Culture, they are okay with it, because this is what, they are the one that regulates all the books that are being published over here. So if you want to publish, or let's say market the book for people, or let's say in order for people to buy your book, what you can do is, this is what I tell people, like, if they want to sell online, eventually they will get the product or the book, is always send copies or products to social media influencers. They can get the word out, they will increase the sales, but for a certain period of time. And then you'll have this exposure of having your product being out in the market, or let's say the book out in the market. That's one way to do. And I know with the situation right now, it's really hard to go out physically and or like market your book. You really have to focus on selling the book online. So utilize anything that you can find at your disposal, especially social media. It's a very inexpensive way to sell your book. The paid promotion that you can do is like nothing in comparing to if you go to a marketing company that you pay, let's say 5,000, 10,000 riyal, while you can do like 100 riyal paid promotion on Instagram that can reach out to more people. So you have to focus on the marketing strategy and how you reach out to more people. there are a lot of ways to do that. So, and I know it's unfortunately that.
I'm sorry. I think time has run out 4 minutes ago. That was insightful. Thank you, Mr. Ahmad Al-Saygh, for that amazing and interactive workshop. I'm so sorry we ran out of time. And with that, Anya and I will be handing it over to Sebastian for our next session. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Johanna. Our next speakers are Mr. Jose Salcedo and Ms. Aisha Al-Madid, who will be speaking to us about how we can help beat plastic pollution.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Good evening. How is it going? Good. All right. I see some thumbs up in there. Well, thank you so much for inviting us. My name is Jose. I am the director of the Doha Environmental Actions Project DEEP, amongst other things. And I'm going to let Ms. Aisha introduce herself before we go into a short presentation about plastic pollution and how you guys can help us make a difference. Ms. Aisha?
Yes, hello everyone, good evening. Thank you for having us. I hope everyone is enjoying. My name is Aisha, I'm from Green and Future Initiative, and we are here to save the environment together.
All right.